So this afternoon I've got a message called Getting Out of the... And I believe we can take some lessons out of that. You see, Jesus not only spoke lessons, but he had action lessons so that we could know the path to walk in. The Lord Jesus is our example. In his earthly ministry, he is our example. And this lesson out of the book of Matthew about Jesus telling Peter to come and walk on the water. I believe we can take some lessons out of this. We can take some lessons for our own lives as we follow the Lord. So I want to share some thoughts out of this lesson, getting out of the boat. There are times as a believer or servant of God when God will demand things of us. These are challenges that the Lord brings to our lives. These are different. They're different than challenges that are in the world or in our daily living. See, challenges in the world depend on how much ability we have. These challenges depend on how smart we are or how intelligent we are. And challenges in the world even depend on how much money or resources we have. But there are times that the Lord will put us into struggles and challenges that are even beyond us. These are times when we have to be totally dependent on him. I believe these are extraordinary challenges. See, sometimes we have challenges in meeting our bills. But I'm saying these are extraordinary challenges. So I'm talking about challenges or opportunities where we can serve God's purposes. And in these kinds of challenges, God gets the glory, not us. These are going to be beyond our abilities. I'm talking about that the Lord will come to us at specific times and take us out of our comfort zones. And that's what he's doing here, bringing you to Canada. He's going to put you into some situations where you're going to have to depend on him. See, the Lord wants to challenge us to launch into the deep. He's going to tell us, trust me more than you've ever trusted. The Lord is going to tell us, believe me for what I'm going to take you into. And we might be tempted to say, I can't do this. But if we will rise to the challenge, we will see the great deliverance of God in our lives. See, years ago, my grandfather was given a challenge by God. My grandfather was approached by the Lord like Peter was approached by the Lord to get out of the boat. See, my grandfather was carrying out in the religion of the First Nation. He was being trained in the religion of the First Nations. He was being raised as a powerful spiritual man. He was well respected in our community because he had a lot of spiritual power. But some of that power was coming from the evil one. One day he was invited to church. He was invited by a minister, a young minister, and said, "Come and hear the gospel." And he accepted the invitation to come. And during the meeting, he said it was just like the Lord was talking to him only. He said, every word that I heard was like God speaking directly only to me in that building. And he heard an invitation to come and receive the Lord Jesus. So that night he stepped out of the boat. See, he was going down a road that was different than what God had for him. But then he was confronted by the Lord himself. God, using a preacher, spoke to him. And he said that night he came and accepted the Lord Jesus. He repented of his past. And God took him on a different journey. Now we see 5 generations of our people are hearing the gospel. And they're responding to the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And let's take it further. My grandfather had all this material of the religion of our people. Our people called them medicine bundles. They were used to worship. They were material that were used for worship. But he heard another preacher say that we turn from idols. So he told my grandmother, we're either going to serve the Lord Jesus or go back to where we came from. So he took that material from the past, went out into the dark. He was going to go bury it. And to this day, nobody has ever been able to find where he buried them. He had given his life totally to the Lord Jesus. And he started a generation of his family serving the Lord Jesus. I'm one of the results of what my grandfather did. He obeyed the Lord Jesus to get out of the boat and come and walk with him. My grandfather died many years ago, but before he died, he took me aside. And he told me, you're my grandson and you preach the gospel. He said, don't ever stop what you're doing. For he said, when Jesus comes at the end of history, many people will have bowed before King Jesus. So that is why I keep walking ahead and obeying the Lord, because I see that vision. Now you came from Korea, God asked you to step out of the boat. And now you have begun a journey with us, so that our children and our young people and our children can hear the good news. So I honor you today for coming to our people. You have been truly sent by God. And yes, sometimes you have to sleep on a hard floor. And you have to put up with the toilets having problems. And you might have complained in the Korean language, but I can understand you. God knows what you have sacrificed, and he will bless you for it. You see, God never saved his children from challenges, but he saved them in the middle of those. Sometimes God doesn't make it easy for his children. If he asks us to face one giant, right after that, there's another giant or another challenge. He asked his people to conquer one city in the Old Testament, but when they conquered that city, there was another city. But in facing the challenges, his people saw the miracles of God. So as you have come to bless the First Nations, God doesn't overlook it. In return, he will bless you people. See, God is leading us into some areas where we've never been before. And sometimes it's going to be fearful. The Lord will ask us to step out of where we've never been before. But I hope we're hearing the voice of the Lord to come. This is the way, walk in it. You took up the challenge to come to Peigan Nation. See, there was a night that the Apostle Peter was challenged to get out of the boat. And Peter saw the miracles of God. He obeyed the Lord to step out of the boat. And Peter walked on the water. See, we, as people, we love our comforts. Many of us want to stay in the comfort of our own boats. But if we will obey and walk out onto the water, see, this is where Jesus is telling us to walk. See, the First Nations have always looked to the Koreans, to the Chinese, to the Japanese. And our people know that we're related to you. We have the same blood. You are our extended family. Now, I've worked with other Korean people in Edmonton. They've gone to First Nations communities all over northern Alberta. See, God is preparing your young people for the future. Coming to the First Nations is only one part of it. You've got some excellent professionals among you. It opens the way to use your gift where God puts you. So I come here today as a representative from Peigan Nation to say thank you. Thank you for remembering our people. The children love you. And they ask about you frequently. So I want to say today, God bless you.